Ethan. You were right. I did lie to you. I shouldn't have, but... All I can say is that if you get this, stay away.
There's a moment very early on in Resident Evil 7 Biohazard where everything just clicks. You're trapped in a decaying house in the middle of nowhere. Your wife, who's been dead for years, is suddenly back, and something is clearly off. And the people living in this house, they're not just dangerous, they're wrong in a way that the game refuses to explain. And that refusal is exactly what makes it work. Because for a while, RE7 isn't just good, it's one of the most effective horror games ever made. But the more the game starts to explain itself, the more that feeling starts to slip away.
Yes!
Hit boy's got to eat. He got to have his supper. Come here, boy. Let's do this.
Oh shit, he's not eating it, Jack! He's not eating it!
Get the hell up, Marguerite!
I made that for him!
Get the hell out of here!
You're a son of a bitch! Oh, I can't believe it, you son of a bitch! He's not eating it! He's not eating it!
Resident Evil 7 didn't just need to be a good game, it needed to fix Resident Evil. Over time, the series had drifted further and further into action, bigger set pieces, more enemies, more spectacle, and in the process, it lost the thing that made it special in the first place: fear. So instead of escalating even further, Resident Evil 7 did the opposite. It pulls everything back. The perspective shifts into first person. The scale shrinks down to a single, isolated location for the most part, and the story becomes smaller, more personal, more contained. And that containment is what gives the game power. The Baker House doesn't feel like a level you're moving through, it feels like a real place you're stuck inside. Tight hallways, locked doors, shortcuts that slowly open up. You don't progress through it in a traditional sense, you learn it, piece by piece, the same way you would do if you were actually trapped there. And then there's Jack Baker.
Answer my questions.
You're not gonna believe me if I told you.
Try. Hey, put that door down. Put that door down. Wait!
What makes Jack so effective isn't that he's just chasing you, it's how grounded he feels. He talks to you, reacts to you, moves through the space in a way that feels almost natural. There's personality there, which makes him unpredictable in a way that most enemies aren't. He doesn't feel like a boss encounter waiting to happen. He feels like a person you're really trying to avoid. And all this is held together by one key decision. The game doesn't explain itself. It gives you fragments, videos, documents, small details, but never hands you the complete picture. Why is Mia like this? What actually happened to the Bakers? And what is controlling any of this? You're constantly close to understanding, but never fully there, and that gap between what you see and what you understand is where the horror lives. The first half of Resident Evil 7 is built entirely around that idea, not knowing the rules. You don't know what the enemies are capable of. You don't know how far the game is willing to go. You don't even know what safe really means. You move differently. You hesitate before opening doors. You listen more carefully. You treat every encounter like it could go wrong, because it often does. Even that combat reinforces this. It's not empowering, it's reactive. You're not dominating situations, you're recovering from them. Every shot feels like it matters because you're never fully in control. And the Bakers themselves keep shifting that feeling. Jack is constant pressure, relentless and physical. Margaret becomes something more invasive, more unsettling in a different way. Each section introduces a new kind of discomfort without fully explaining it, so you never settle into a rhythm. You're not mastering the game, you just adjust to it. But slowly, that uncertainty starts to fade. You move further away from the house. The environments become less grounded, more linear. Encounters start to feel more structured, more predictable. And then the game reaches the boat. This is where the shift becomes impossible to ignore. because instead of building tension through what you don't know, the game starts focusing on what it needs you to understand. You're no longer exploring a mystery, you're being guided through an explanation. Logs, flashbacks, direct exposition, it all starts to pile up. The game isn't asking questions anymore, it's answering them, and that changes how it feels to play. The pacing slows down, but not in a way that builds tension, rather in a way that weighs down the experience. You're not anticipating danger, you're processing information. The horror doesn't evolve anymore, it gets replaced. And that leads directly into the reveal of Evelyn. Up until this point, the horror in RE7 is abstract. It's something you experience without fully understanding. It exists in an uncomfortable space where nothing is clearly defined. But Evelyn changes that. She gives the entire situation a structure, a cause, a system. She's no longer an unknowable presence influencing everything around you. She's a product, a bioweapon, something engineered and controlled. And the moment the game frames it like that, the fear changes, because now there are rules, there are explanations, there's logic behind everything that's happening. And once something can be understood, it becomes manageable. The bakers stop feeling like these disturbing, unpredictable figures and become victims of a defined infection. The house stops feeling like a place with something deeply wrong inside of it and starts to feel like the site of the incident, an unknown collapse into something familiar. And this is where RE7 falls into the same pattern that Resident Evil has struggled with for years. Escalation through explanation. Every entry tries to show more, explain more, define more, and in doing so, it slowly strips away the ambiguity that makes horror effective. RE7 starts by rejecting that completely. It builds fear through limitation, through absence, through the things that it chooses not to tell you. But by the end, it circles back to the same idea, turning mystery into lore, turning fear into information. And once everything is laid out clearly, the experience loses that edge it had at the start.
Ethan!
Ethan? Ethan? Hey, shh, I know. I'm not gonna hurt you. Hell, I never would have if I could have helped it.
What do you mean?
I'm no killer, son. Neither is Marguerite, nor my boy Lucas, or even Zoe here. That girl, Evelyn, she did this.
What the hell is she? No, what did she do to you?
She infected us with her gift. That's what she calls it. I found her near a busted out tank in the bayou. Everything changed after that.
So she infects you and then she takes control?
No. Not exactly, son. She just... She forces her way into your mind, your soul. You can't fight back. You are connected to her, and you can't resist the urge to... Oh, you're a different person after that.
Just like Mia. So Mia sent me that message because of Evelyn.
Listen, the girl just wants a family of her own. She's the key, all right? You find her, and you stop her. Ethan, free my family. Please.
The ending pushes this even further. Chris Redfield shows up with almost no build-up, immediately shifting the tone away from what their game has been doing. Up until that point, everything has been small and contained, personal, isolated. But his arrival pulls the story outwards, connecting it back to the larger Resident Evil universe, and that creates a disconnect, because the game you've been playing isn't about a global threat or a wider conspiracy. It's about being trapped in a single place, trying to understand something that doesn't make sense. So instead of feeling like a conclusion, the game feels like a transition into something else. It doesn't resolve the experience, it redirects it. And yet, despite all this, RE7 still works, because what it gets right, it gets really right. That opening stretch isn't just effective, it's focused. It understands restraint in a way that most horror games don't. It's willing to sit in discomfort, to let moments breathe, to trust that what you don't know is more powerful than what you do. And for a significant portion of the game, that approach works better than almost anything else in the series. Resident Evil 7 proves something that sounds simple, but is surprisingly hard to execute. Horror doesn't come from scale. It doesn't come from complexity. It comes from not fully understanding what you're dealing with. Resident Evil 7 revives the franchise by embracing that idea, but it also shows how fragile it is. Because the moment the game starts explaining everything, it stops being as effective. And that's the contradiction at the center of RE7. It saves the series by returning to horror, and then slowly weakens itself by trying to define it. Thank you for listening.
I can hear her. I can feel her clawing her way back inside of me. Get out! Leave me alone! I've been bad. I deserve this.